Good afternoon. This is another session of Business Mondays at the Urban Farmhouse. And with me today is Tara Carter of Plus MGT Properties. Tara, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Today's session is all about real estate. So Tara's part of a real estate development firm. Tara, tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. We develop and manage apartment communities throughout Richmond and the surrounding areas. We also have a retail component. We develop retail facilities also.
And you've been in Richmond how long as a company?
Plus Management was formed in 2006 by Phil Roper and George Emerson.
Okay. So before we get into where you're located, the kinds of real estate rental properties you focus on, this has been a really tough market for any kind of real estate since about 2007. What's your perspective on that? Where are we going in general in this region?
Sure. I think we've seen some larger markets that were significantly hit by the downturn in the economy. Las Vegas, Phoenix, a lot of the markets in Florida, Houston in particular. Richmond, while we've seen an impact from the unemployment rate and just the general national economy, the apartment market has been relatively strong. Certainly the occupancies have remained strong. Maybe we've had a little bit of backsliding in the rent growth area, but overall we've seen strong occupancies, especially in the downtown Richmond, the Shockoe Bottom markets.
Wow, okay. So talk to us a little bit about where your properties are located and where you see the growth coming in the next few years.
Absolutely. I think that we are seeing tremendous growth in Shockoe Bottom and in downtown. Half of our portfolio is located north of the river, primarily in Shockoe Bottom, and the other half is located in Chester. We've got a property in Midlothian and also in Manchester. We're actually seeing quite a bit of growth and a lot of interest in Manchester as a secondary market to downtown and to Shockoe Bottom.
Is some of that directly connected to where all the entrepreneurial focus has been, both in downtown and Shockoe and Manchester, where all these smaller high-growth companies are located?
Absolutely. I think that a big reason for the renewed interest in Manchester is the availability of land and the ability to convert some of those old buildings, and we're seeing less and less availability in downtown and in Shockoe Bottom, but we're continuing to see growth. There's new apartment communities opening all the time in Shockoe Bottom, but I really do think Manchester is going to probably be the next sub-market that sees a big boom.
So what you also seem to be suggesting is a lot of the young professionals are now living and working close to where the two places come together.
Absolutely, and with the growth of the Broad Street corridor and hopefully even more growth in retail, you're starting to see that live, work, play component come in and be a realistic way of life for people.
So how does Virginia Commonwealth University impact some of that in the Broad Street corridor?
Absolutely. I mean, there's that definite growth with VCU. In fact, we're projecting continued growth in that area, and so we're opening a 152-unit apartment community probably in late 2014 at the intersection of Schaefer and Grace. It'll be called The Square, and that will cater primarily to VCU students because it will be in walking distance to the university and right across from the Barnes & Noble bookstore.
Wow, so you guys have seen quite a bit of growth despite the market.
Absolutely.
In the last 5 years. So you've been through so much. My guess is, Tara, there had to have been at least one really funny story in the last few years that you guys have come across that you could talk about on camera.
Sure. It's tough to find one that's suitable for all audiences, but this was not with Plus Management, but we were positioning an entire portfolio of properties for sale, and so I'd done my market research, I'd done all the property research for statistics to tour a big investment group to sell a portfolio, and so dressed to the nines, ready to go, all of the investors show up and we start the tour process, and one of the investors pulls me to the side and he said, Ms. Carter, you have a piece of popcorn stuck in the inside back leg of your pantyhose. You might want to excuse yourself for a second. How in the world that happened, I have no idea, but it was probably one of my most embarrassing career moments, to say the least. So all the preparation in the world couldn't have prepared me for that.
Yeah, and guys don't have that opportunity.
No. So count yourself lucky.
One last question. If you had one thing that you would do if you were in charge of the world, or at least Central Virginia,
sure,
to improve the real estate environment here, and you could control things that would be specific to this area, what would you do?
I think continued employment growth. We've seen the addition of Amazon in the Chester market, which was a great addition, but I think that we still need to drive additional employment in those areas. With the Fort Lee furlough and the addition of the hotel, it's impacted the apartment market in that region, and so being able to diversify that economy a bit with some expanded employer base would be really good for the real estate market. Absolutely.
Great. Tara, this has been great.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. This has been another session of Business Mondays at the Urban Farmhouse with Tara Carter of Plus MGT Properties. On behalf of Renee Fisher and myself from Alpha Omega Wealth Management, thank you.